a couple of small activities. Hello, everybody. We're supposed to, let's start at 2 o'clock. We're officially starting at 2 o'clock.
Okay, good.
And today is the Global Maths and Science Day. Let me change my screen to so you can look at that and not. Anyway, if I can work it out. And we have the amazing. You're going to have to say your name because I don't want to say it wrong.
That's okay. Dr. Grace Olugbodi.
Olugbodi. And Dr. Grace Olugbodi isn't just an amazing woman, isn't just a wonderful person to talk to. She's incredibly creative and has a talent for helping people love mathematics. So on today, the 2022 Global Maths and Science lesson, Grace is going to talk to us about some of her things. So we're going to do the lesson. We're going to do today's lesson for anybody that wants a little bit of extra help doing it. But Grace is also going to tell us more about what her game. She's an author, but let me read the thing I've got prepared to read to you because it's amazing. So Grace is the creator of the multi-award-winning proven Race to Infinity maths board game. It's been featured on the BBC News, BBC World, which I don't know. I need to ask about what that is. She's author of the Make Maths Fun book and founder of BeGenio, Easy Math Skills. And I'd like to learn more about that as well. I don't remember about BeGenio. So welcome, Grace. Thank you for joining me. I'm just going to change my camera again. I have to say it while I'm doing it. I have to talk myself through it. And please do, before we start the lesson, it's a very simple, there's just 2 activities and a very simple lesson. If you're following us, do get a piece of paper, a pen, and some square paper. If you've got those, piece of paper, pen, square paper. If you're finicky, you might want a ruler. And if you're uber finicky, a compass. But you can manage it with paper, square paper, and pencil. Right. Oh, Grace is making notes now. So
no, I'm looking at the lesson.
Yes. Oh, no, we're going to do the lesson in a minute after you tell us more about yourself. Grace has got the lesson on her mobile, so you can do it on your mobile. Yep, and so tell us about, oh my goodness, Race to Infinity. I want to ask you about the multiplication, the huge help you are in helping people learn multiplication tables, and your book, which kind of all tallies in together, and BeGenio. Am I missing anything?
No, not really.
Well, let's start with my favorite, Race to Infinity.
Yes.
Oh no. Yeah, sorry. I was going to say, just tell us a little bit about yourself in addition to what I've just said. Why do you do what you do?
Okay. Well, I'm the creator of the Race to Infinity maths game. And Race to Infinity is a board game. Well, it's now also an app, so we have digitized it. Oh, yes. So Race to Infinity is a maths board game that helps children enjoy maths and love maths, and also increase maths confidence just through playing, and helps them reduce mathematical anxiety. It's basic math, so it's addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and times table, and in particular how to relate those to real life. So the game provides a real world context for children to practice those basic skills and apply it to real life. So in particular, Race to Infinity helps develop fluency, reasoning, and problem solving. Obviously, you've got to set time aside to play the game, but it's only 15-20 minutes once you learn the rules. So it's quite easy to use and to set up, and then you start playing. Away you go. Race to Infinity has been around for 5 years, and we do have thousands and thousands of people using the game. We have also thousands of schools in the UK and the USA using the game, as well as a teaching tool, and particularly just to support learning. It doesn't replace learning, it supports the learning and teaching that children learn in school. And we do tournaments. We're on tournaments with it, workshops. We've just finished a whole lot in which we had 1,024 children take part in game sessions and tournaments in the Royal Borough of Greenwich and the Royal Borough of Lewisham. So
they're London boroughs, for those of you that aren't UK or London based. They're kind of southeast London. No, Lewisham, I'm not quite sure where that is. It's just southeast London, south of the Thames.
And Greenwich.
And it's but it's powerful. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Maths is maths. And it's a game that doesn't really need. Have you got it translated yet, or are you planning to get it translated?
We have got it translated. So we've got the rules in 5 languages. Apart from English, we've also got French, Spanish, German, and Italian, and then we've got Japanese.
Okay.
We've also translated to Arabic, and most recently we've translated to Mandarin, which was just literally ready last week before the last.
How exciting!
So 8 languages.
Fantastic. Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll do one of the activities, and then I'll ask you about the next bit of your wonderful thing. Although I would like to actually should have started with this if I'd thought about it. Let's learn a times table. Can you talk me through one of the time? Not right this second. We're going to do an activity, and then can you teach me again how to learn one of those kind of finicky ones that you've got these great techniques for?
Okay,
that's incentive. See, I'm doing the hook to keep them around. Okay, so I'm going to put my visualizer back on, and we're going to start with sheep talk. So there's 2 activities in this 30-minute lesson. So welcome. This is a lesson that learners are doing all around the world. There's a link in the description, and it's 1 day a year. So if you're too late to do this year, or you're seeing this after the date, you can go ahead and do the lesson. Links are all in the description. But if you want to join in with us next year on the same day, or you can, if it's still 11th of October, wherever you are, you can still do it today. And thousands upon thousands. We've got over 20,000 people registered at the moment. And there are 2 activities, a 30-minute lesson. There are 2 activities. They're super simple. But then there's follow-up activities. So young children can do the activity, and older children can take it further. And there's other resources to investigate around it. So let's go with. And then remember, after we play, Grace is going to show us a way to learn a finicky times table, which means one that's perhaps a little bit harder to learn. Right. Welcome to the 2022 Global Maths and Science lesson. And what we're about to do is, if I can get the right page here, called Sheep Talk. Now, Sheep Talk is, I'm using recycled paper, and I'm looking for one that's completely clear. Sheep Talk, raise this up a bit. Sheep Talk has a rule.
Yep, we can see it.
Here we go. Yeah, I'm just working on it.
Yep.
Sheep Talk has 2 rules, not 1 rule, 2 rules. We're going to start with A. So we're going to start. I'm just going to demonstrate. It's the best way I do things. Just play. It's like when you play a game, is it? Just play the game and you learn as you go. So you start with the letter A. Wherever you see the letter A, the next step, so step 1, step 2, A always goes to B. So A will go to B. Whenever you see the letter B, it'll always go to AB. So step 3, B will become AB. Now, step 4, we have 2 letters. We have A and we have B. So A will become B, and B will become AB. Now, this is where the fun kind of starts a little bit. So if we just say it phonetically, it's A, B, Ab, and Bab. And it's called Sheep Talk, remember? So A, B, A, Bab. Wonder why it's called Sheep Talk. So step 5. B will become, A will become, and B will become. You pause if you're watching this as a recording. I'm just going to go ahead and A, B, B, A, B, and I'm going to say it, abab. But I do like the sheep talk connection. Okay, now let's go again. We keep going. I'm just going to do it nice and quickly because once you get the hang of it. Now, with young children, it's fine. You just take your time. Really think about it because they're not as fluent with letters. And it works. Now, you might start to see a pattern here. You might start to see patterns working. And then here we go. That's stage 6 and then stage 7. I'm going to go as far as stage 7. Each letter will produce either one letter or two. So it'll be okay. Now, there are several patterns I see here, and it's so fun to say it. Bab, 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 bab. I kind of go longer when I see it B. But there's an interesting thing here. Do you ever see any double A's? Do you see double B's? Do you see more than 2 A's or more than 2 B's in a row? More than 1 A in a row? Things like that. So start looking for patterns. That's what we want to do in maths. To make maths interesting, engage learners in maths. It's about looking for patterns. And to be successful in maths, you're spotting patterns all the time. And there's further activities on this, which means you're starting to analyze it. And there's connection between this and the next activity we're going to do, which is all about drawing. So over to you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, download there's a lesson, there's a teacher guide, which is also a parent guide, and there's worksheets that you can download. Grace, are you ready? Oh, hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah. My phone fell off just now. I got it.
So what are we now we had a challenge. It was during lockdown, wasn't it, Grace? And I was
right, it was
all my times tables to 20. I have to say I did get up to 10 for sure. I mean, obviously 10's an easy times table, but there were some in there that I was a bit iffy about. So you should be able to test me all the way to, I don't know all the 11 times tables. It's like 11 11s and 11 12s. Although 11 11s 1 2 1. Is it 1 2
yes, correct.
Okay. I used your technique to just work that one out quickly.
Right.
I don't know 11 12s, but I can work it out. But
you can use the same technique.
Oh well, maybe it wasn't the same technique. It wasn't that technique. There was 2 techniques that we were talking about there.
Okay.
No, because what I did with 11, I did with Tony. I've done a lot of 1 times 1, 11 times 11, 111 times 111. That's magic. If you do that, we'll do. I'll be doing lives on that. It's again at some point.
Brilliant.
So yes, apart from 11 times 12, you can test me on anything.
Okay, I can tell you 11 times 12.
Okay, tell me 11 times 12. I can work it out, but I don't.
Yeah, 1 3 2. And if you look at a quick trick on that, if you look at the first number and the last number, so you've got 12, right? Yeah. 11 times 12. So if you look at the 12 part of it, because you're multiplying by 12, and if you just go just like, and the same trick would work for 11 times 11. So the first digit from that 12 is 1, and the second digit is 2. If you write that, rewrite it, but leave a space in the middle. So 1 and then space and a 2.
And add the 2 together.
And add the 2 together and put it in the middle. So
11 and add, wait a minute. So you're writing 11, put 1 and 2, and then it's a 2, 1 2 1.
It's a 3. 1 and 2, 3.
No, 1 3 2 for 11 times 12, and I've just gone back to 11 times 11.
Oh, okay, of course, yeah.
Using that technique for 11 times 11, I kind of actually did a very quick long multiplication with 11 times 11 is what I actually did. So maybe I wasn't using your technique, but it's super easy with ones because you can
just add the two numbers.
Yeah.
1 and 1, that's 2, and put that in the middle.
Yeah.
So that's 1, 2, 1. So
is that an 11 times table thing? Is an 11
so
times table thing?
Yeah. So if you go to,
can I do 11 times 5,722?
You can, but it might be a bit tricky for you. So I would say just go to 11 times 13.
Okay.
Let's take baby steps.
Okay. So I've got
13.
1, 3, and then 4 in the middle. 1, 4, 3. Okay. All right, folks. 11 times table. Here we come. At least 2 digit.
Right. So you can do 11 times 17.
Oh yeah. If I'm going to make it a difficult number, I could say 11 times 87, and it's going to work. I'll test it later. Test it later. 87, and in the middle, 15.
Yeah, but the problem is that, you know, when you start having to carry over, you've got to be careful.
Yeah, I've got to investigate this some more, because now I'm thinking, okay, we've got place value coming in here.
Yeah, because the reason I'm using the ones, and the reason I'm using just I'm going from 11 to sort of, you know, to the next lot, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's because it's always a 1 in the beginning, so it's still just that number that you're multiplying with. You just write something there again. When you start going to 11 times 87, then you know it's no longer 1. It's now an 8, and even that 8 at some point it carries over and it becomes a 9, because then, you know, if you've got a 1 at the beginning, if you've got an 8 at the beginning and you've got a 9 later, and you're adding those, now you've got 17 all of a sudden, which means you've got to carry over.
Yeah, and it's a good conversation about place value, though, isn't it? So I'm going to investigate that. But now I've chosen one that I think might work. I've chosen 11 times 43, so I could write a 4. I could write a 3 and put a 7 in the middle. And is 11 times 43 473?
So if you're doing it, you've got to make sure that you're doing numbers that are easy like that, because if you make it harder, then you've got to be careful when you've got to carry over. But yes, 11 times 43, if you just do the numbers in between. It's the 4 first, though, but don't forget, you know, you write the 4, you write the 3.
Yeah, the 4, and then the 3, and then add the 2 together. And so what's important there, if you want to keep it simple, is that the 2 numbers, whatever 2 digits you come up with, don't add to more than 9.
Exactly.
For that, keep it simple, and then
that keeps it simple. Yes.
Okay. So
and if it adds to more than 9, then you've got to carry over. So you've then got to be careful to make sure that you're.
Then I've got to think about it. We'll do that some other time. Not going to do it live here. Or we've had somebody. We've got a viewer. Can you say hello? Because I can see your comments. I don't know if Grace can, but I can see your comments.
I can't see any comments.
So I'll tell you if anybody says a comment. So whoever you are, please say hello so we know who you are. And if you're on Grace's groups or my groups or any of the pages. Oh, it's Michael Abramson from Dublin. I'm going to see him on Saturday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're doing Maths Week Ireland. He's accompanying me for 2 of the days of Maths Week Ireland, and he's helping me. We do a giant tetrahedron balloon build, which is 8 meters high. Amazing. And then we're also doing. We haven't decided what we're doing at the Botanic Garden. So if you're in Dublin, if you're watching this, you're in Dublin, we'll be at the Bank of England.
I did wonder when I heard Bank
of Ireland in Dublin, right next to Trinity College, and then again at the Botanic in Dublin on the Sunday. Michael and I will be there making amazing creations. Well, that you will help us make amazing creations in both places. Right, now, what's next, Grace? Your times table. How much time have we got? Bank of Ireland, College Green. Thank you, Michael. I love Michael. I love Michael Abrams.
Bless him.
He's done all the Guinness World Records with me. You did them all, didn't you? You have been there for all of them.
Tell me about your Guinness World Records. We've done a trick for 11, so let's talk about the Guinness World Records.
We've achieved we've achieved 1 of all our attempts, but we attempted quite a few. But we managed to achieve 1.
Brilliant. What year was that?
That was 2014, and we did achieve it. And it was weird because we've only just, and Michael hasn't even got a certificate yet, but I only just received them last year, and so that was 6-7 years
Wow,
after we did
that's
it. We only
amazing.
just managed to get the certificates, so that was but it's all good, and we've got them now.
Amazing.
That's why you do them, isn't it? To get certificates.
Absolutely.
No, we got a huge amount of engagement because we made several attempts, and every single time we got a massive amount of engagement and people doing maths and having great fun.
That's
So
incredible. I mean, that's got to be, high up there.
that's what
High up
it's
there.
all about. So, we've got 2 people watching now. The second person, could you please say hello? We'd love to know who you are and be able to say hello. Now, Grace is, well, we've both got limited time. I'm off to Mexico next, by the way.
Wow.
It's my next destination, and I have we've got another 10 minutes or so. Shall we just go? No, first of all, tell me your book. You've got to get listen. Tell me about your book and GoGenio, please.
All right. So my book is titled Make Maths Fun: How to Help Children, how to help your child raise their confidence through grades and games. Basically learning without realizing that they're learning, so they think they're playing, and how you can use games to increase their confidence. So about how to choose the right type of games. I mean, obviously we have a game called Race to Infinity, so obviously it works as well, but there are other games, not many, but there are other games too that would work, that would help children increase their maths confidence. They've just got to be the right games. And the book talks about how to do this, how to, how much time to spend with your child, how often, what you're supposed to be doing in supporting them, and how to sort of scaffold them, which means don't tell them the answer, but how to guide them, to support them. And the bigger worry that parents have is that they don't know how to help their children with maths, and a lot of parents are afraid of maths, and a lot of parents are afraid of confusing the children, and because they don't understand the new methods that are being used to teach maths. So the parents don't want to confuse their kids, even if they are confident with maths. They don't want to confuse them, so they're still apprehensive about supporting. And a lot of parents fall into this brackets, and that's why I wrote that book, Make Maths Fun, which can be found on Amazon.
And so can Race to Infinity, and there's links to Race to Infinity and your other website in the description. Okay, fantastic. Well, let's get to do the other activity. And so get your pen ready, get your square paper. If you're older, where's my square paper? If you're older, you won't you'll be fine with, oh my, put everything tidily away and then I can't find it. Right, square paper. And just writing on my nice jacket. So what we're going to do is we're going to, on your paper, I've actually decided I want this modified. So
I'm going to go off camera so that I'm not
doing.
distracting, so that people
say that again.
I said I was going to have camera so that I'm not distracting, so people can actually look at the paper that you're showing there and not me.
And I'm going to just zoom in here. 8. Thank you, Grace. 8, 9, 10. Keep going. And then this one, I'm going to go up to 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to create some paper for this game, for this activity, where you've got the grid on it. Now, we want to start at position 9, 5. Find position, the coordinate 9, 5, which is 9 across and 5 up. From there, you're going to make a square, a 1 by 1 by 1 square to the right. So up, right, down, left. And then you're going to make another square to the left of it. So you're going to go left, up, right. Now we're going to make a square, but we're going to make a square that matches both of those ones. So we're going to go up. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. We're going to go up, across, and down. So I'm just covering the screen while I do that. So up, across, and down. And now we've got one that's too wide, which is all about making squares. So now we're going to follow a clockwise direction. So now we're going to go to the right, down and back. And this time it's 3 because we want to make a square alongside the rectangle that we've made. So now we've made another rectangle. So now we're going to make a square that's the same length as the long side of the rectangle. So this time we're going to go down, across and up. Now this is something that I've been playing with, especially for young learners. You've got 1 there and 1 there, and 1 plus 1 is 2. And then how do you work out what 2 plus 1 is? Well, that's easy. 2 plus 1 is 3. Even if you're using counters, that's easy. Now, 3 plus 2, okay. If you're not sure about 3 plus 2, you can just go 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So for young learners, we're able to get to all of these. Now, the next one is 5 plus 3. Well, 5 plus 2 you can still do on your fingers, on 2 hands. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But if you're not sure, you can go 5 plus 1 plus 2 and get to 8. So we're going this way, that way, clockwise. So we're going to go 8, square that's made up of 8.
So Fibonacci.
Am I doing this right? There. This 8 wants to be there. Have you got any questions, Grace? Am I?
No, I was just commenting on the Fibonacci sequence. That's all.
Oh, shush! It's not Fibonacci. It's squares. Well, I don't believe I said it's not Fibonacci. We're just making squares and rectangles. That's all we're doing.
All right, you're forgiven.
So now we've got 8 and 2 and 3. So, or we can say 8 and 5, but we can also say 8 plus 2. 8 plus 2 is easier to work out than 8 plus 5, but because you need more than 2 hands for that. So you know 8, you can use 2 hands for 8 plus 2, then add the 3. So it's for young learners or lower attainers, it does help them to work that out. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Where should I stop? 8 plus 2 is 10 and 3 is 13. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. You can draw this much better if you draw this with a ruler, but it's a lot harder for me to demonstrate and it takes a lot longer. So we've now got a square that's 13, and we're now going to take the long edge of our rectangle and make another square against it. So again, 13 plus 8, if that's hard to do, 13 plus 3 and then add 5, whichever works out for you. And 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21. This is very rough drawing here, but it gets the job done. So we've got 21 there, and we have a sequence, and the sequence goes, well, we can start with 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and so on. Now that's the sequence. So you can now stop and think, how would you know what the next number is? What's happening with each of these numbers to work out what each of these numbers is, and how can I do it? I'm deliberately starting with zeros so that you literally have a starting point. So I'm not going to answer that question, but what we are going to do right now is we're going to do a bit of drawing. So we're going to start at this point here. We're going to start at, wait a minute, I've got that wrong. We're going to start here. We're going to start at 10, 6, right here. I'm going to make a big red blob there. Start at 10, 6, and we're going to draw. Let's say these squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If that's a square, let's cut it into quadrants. we drew a circle all the way around, we're going to draw this curve, 1/4 of a circle inside each of these squares. So we're going to consider these squares to be a quadrant of a bigger square. But anyway, this is the shape that we want here, this quarter circle. And we're going to start there, and we're going to go there, and we're going to go around to that one. We're going to do the 2, it's getting bigger, go around to the base of 3, it's getting bigger, go around to 5 and 8, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now I'm doing this freehand. Oh, you didn't see the last bit. I'm doing this freehand, but these are actual quarters of a circle. So the best way to draw them is with a compass in that point and just draw a quarter of the circle there. So get a compass, stick it here, draw that, stick it there, draw that, stick it there, and then just make it 2 squares long and draw that. That's the best way to do it. But this is a lot faster. There's a lot more activities around it that you can download that are all on the link that's in the description. But before we do that, there's other things you can do. Like this is called elephant dreaming. So you can actually colour it in, give the elephant a little eye, and colour it in. One of the things that we do is make that black so that you can see the elephant's trunk. So you'd make all of everything around the outside black. That's something you can do, which is where the elephant starts being revealed, for example. But you could also, I can see other animals. I can see a very specific animal in here, but one that actually I'd put that little bit back in, perhaps. I don't know. It's up to you. But you can see different animals in here, and you can extend the curve. To me, this is one of the most exciting things. Everybody can combine together. Maybe everybody can make a square. You've got to decide what size square you're going to do, and then you can come all together and stick them together. People who draw the small squares can maybe do small and bigger, and see how big a spiral you can make. And in the process, you would also be working on this magical sequence, which Grace, since you're the one that said what it is, I think you should say a little bit more now. What do you think? Are you up for that? Do you want to talk about this Fibonacci sequence? I'm not sure if we've lost Grace. Anyway. I've lost Grace. So in Grace's absence at the moment, what I'm going to do is going to talk about, well, hello, Grace.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I am.
Yes. I was saying, do you want to just quickly talk about the Fibonacci sequence? I've got some pictures to show as well, but you don't have to. I was just wondering if you wanted to, since you identified it.
It's just a wonderful phenomenon. I just find it quite fascinating. I think a lot of people find it quite fascinating, and it's all about it's all about how patterns repeat themselves. Exactly, I was going to say spiral. It's how patterns repeat themselves, and that's that small with that sort of lesson that you've just done with Caroline just now, where you just have a 1, and then it goes on to and then what you normally do is then you add your previous 2 numbers together, which you've just done in the sequence, in the series. And then when you sort of apply that to real life, it shows itself in a lot of different things in maths, like, as you can see here, petals and.
So and this is amazing. We've got 1 petal, 2 petals, 3, 5, 8. I don't know, actually, no, there's probably more in like 11 or 13 or 21 there, but even trees and roots. You'll see the way the trees and roots grow. Pine cones, they'll have the amount of spirals that they have on them, like the spirals of the seeds, will be a Fibonacci number. And then you've got the natural curve with shells and things.
Yep.
And so my challenge to you watching is to go find some flowers and post it in whatever group you're watching this on, wherever you're watching it. Come and post and send us pictures and post on how many petals you're finding. And it depends on the layer, because you might have, for example, this one, the columbine, you've got 5 inside and 5 outside. Some flowers you might have 5, and then you might have a lot more than 5 on the outside. And so each layer, let's say, that's the amount of petals you want to count. So that's yes, Fibonacci and sequences in general, and it's how to make maths interesting and fun. So
Absolutely.
and what else? What is BeGenio?
BeGenio is our overall brand name. So the Race to Infinity game is a BeGenio game, and we have other games. And then the math book is also a BeGenio book. So BeGenio is the name of our company. That's the name of our overall brand. And we create maths games for kids, and we run workshops and tournaments in schools and game sessions that help children love maths and, increase their confidence. Our mission is to help 10 million children eliminate mathematical anxiety.
How many have you up to so far? Have you actually any idea? Have you got it?
We're not even near
yet?
It's got to start. Yeah, we're not even.
Well, I tell you what, you've helped me with I was really, no, seriously, I was struggling with learning my times tables, especially my 7 and 8s, and I now, though I might be a little bit hesitant at times, but I keep going through it. So yes, you've got great. You've contact Grace through the websites if you want to, and she's got you
on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn, yes, it's very thorough on LinkedIn, and thank you for joining us. And we will be doing this next year, so please do click on the registration link for if you do this on the 11th. If not, just find the registration link will take you to next year's one. And please do join us every year for our global maths and science lesson. I'm hoping you'll come on with us again next year, Grace.
Yes, I would love to. Absolutely.
Yay!
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, it's a pleasure, and we must have a chat later.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, everyone, and see you next time with the Global Maths and Science lesson. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, everyone.